Hey everybody, this is Brett FX here. Long time no see. I have to say it has been a long time since I did a video on anything at all. So this is yeah, this is going to be the incursions update. So we're going to do a short little video about what's going on, my thoughts on it. I mean, really, you can go and look at the information yourself. It's not like it's private or anything like that. But I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts on what I think is most important. And yeah, you guys go check it out. Incursions is not open beta. It is still under testing. They are going to be sending out keys, I believe, later. I don't know. Don't hold me to that one. But I think they're going to be sending out some more invites. I know that Xbox and PlayStation have also had their stuff released for incursions. And I believe that only people who had the CTE are getting in right now. That's why I'm thinking that they're going to invite other people, because they didn't really make it clear that CTE was going to turn into incursions. But anywho's, let's go ahead and get right on into this. So first of all, yes, Battlefield Incursions is coming on to all 3 platforms. I mentioned that a little while ago. That's pretty cool. That's going to open it up to a lot more people given their feedback. It's going to allow people to let them know how the maps are playing out, what kits are good, bad, balance. What's really going to be interesting on this one is how is this going to balance compared to PC. So I don't really think there's going to be much difference in balance in terms of like PS4 to Xbox. I think that's going to be pretty much the same, but it's really going to be interesting to see the balance difference coming in from PC from consoles. I do know that on PC, obviously, we can control recoil a lot better than on the consoles. You have, wow, my chair just ratcheted down. You have the ability to, snap onto targets a little bit faster. You're going to be able to move your cursor a lot faster with the tank, so on and so forth. So there's going to be certain gadgets, certain guns that will just plain be better on PC than they will be on console. And if you try and balance it out just for console, then you can end up with stuff that's very, very overpowered on PC, but if you balance it only for PC, you can end up with a very lopsided feeling on console. And with this having a very strict kit system, it's going to have to be split. So really curious to see what the developers are going to do with that one. The other big update to Incursions, now if you guys had played Incursions previously on PC, is the fact that we're going to have a practice mode. So this is, for lack of a better term, it's unranked. I don't know why they're not calling it ranked, but they are calling it practice mode instead of unranked. My bad there. I got my words twisted up. So I guess they decided not to go with unranked because it is technically different than ranked, but unranked is different because it's not ranked. Anyways, we're going down a rabbit hole on that one. But basically with unranked or practice mode, you're going to only play one half of the map. So on Giant Shadow, you're only going to be playing one side, which means that it's going to go up to, I believe, 7. Once that hits, it's going to end the match. On Amain's, you're only going to be going up to the 2 bombs, and then it's going to be cutting off after that. And then over onto Sinai Desert, you're going to have the 3 points that you can initially capture, and then it's going to end after that. So there's not going to be any flipping sides or anything like that, which, I mean, I can kind of see where they're coming from this, because basically this is going to be like, hey, this is kind of a taste of what it's like. And the other big thing for it as well is that you're going to be able to switch kits. So you can't switch kits in the main game. So in ranked play, once you go through the draft system, they call it, at the very start, you cannot switch out of that kit. So if you pick a sniper kit and you're on Amain's and they're just basically just raking you over the coals with all kinds of subs and ARs, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do. You're stuck with it. But in practice mode, you're going to be able to switch off of that. You're going to go, all right, this is not working out. Let's go ahead and switch over to Prox Recon over here and get me an MP18. Now, the one thing that they did keep is that you have to have a unique kit. So if there's another person who has Prox Recon or Shock Assault, you cannot select those kits. You have to pick one of the other free kits in there. Which, I mean, it is going to help. So you are going to have that opportunity to where brand new people coming in. And I see their point. I do see their point on this. Brand new people are going to be coming in. They don't know what the meta is. They don't know that they need a tank on certain maps. They don't know that they have to have two AT guys. You know, they don't really want to have a medic so much as they do want to have the anti-tank. And so they may pick the wrong setups. And it's going to end up for being a very lopsided game. And could potentially have levers in the second half, which is why they're only doing one half. They have stated that most of the people who are leaving either at the beginning of the match right away because they didn't get the kit that they wanted, which is why they have the kit changing, because it allows them to kind of switch that up. Also, the second half is when you get to the switching point in the map. One team is maybe losing heavily. They end up leaving out of it for that. So that's kind of their solution to that problem. Now, my biggest issue with this is the fact that new players could come in, they play this version of it, they like this version of it, they like the fact that they can kit switch. You know, the only playing one half thing doesn't bug me. What bugged me is the kit switching. So to me, when you have that kit switching in there, it kind of shows what the game, it gets players used to what the game is not. So when they move up to rank play, which is going to be what we're going to be showing in tournaments, it's what we're going to be showing on stream, it's what is going to be the norm. Okay, that's what people are going to be calling the competitive version of it. Well, that's not going to be the version that they know, that they tried out first, that they fell in love with. Like, to me, that's just, it's setting them up to not like what is supposed to be the base game. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it a bit. I hope I am. Honestly, I hope this works out. I hope that we get a flood of new people in off of this, and I hope that we have ranked servers filled to the brim. You know, that would be fantastic to see. But that's what I'm kind of worried about. So practice mode, all three platforms, those two are probably the biggest changes that are happening with Incursions. So definitely go check those out. Okay, so the other thing too with the practice mode, it is not ranked. I think I already stated that at the beginning, but it is not ranked. So the next thing is in-game progression. So in-game progression has had some really big ups and downs. They came out with, well, they didn't come out with, there was a leaked image in a way that it made it into the game and it wasn't supposed to. Everybody was like, this is not what it needs to be. I was one of them, and I was like, I came up with like a 10-page essay on why this does not need to happen. So anyways, they did not implement that in-game progression, if those are what you're talking about. And if you want to know more about that, just look on Reddit. There's tons of threads on it. Just go back in the history for a couple of months. But what they did do is they changed it to in-game progression from being time-based and kill-based, which is what it used to be, to now being I believe it's kit-based as well as time-based and kill-based. It may not be time-based, but I think it's also kill-based, which means that the better you do at your kit, the more points you're going to get to level up that kit in order to get your in-game progression. So if you're a medic, the more med packs that you send out to players, the more times you revive, you are going to get points for those. You no longer just have to kill somebody or just by the time of the game in order to rank up your kits. I like this. I really do. It's going to be interesting to see how fast these kits can be ranked up in certain ways. Like, can they be manipulated in certain ways? You know, maybe a guy shoulder peaks a whole lot and he's just getting chip damage, and you have a med sitting back there constantly getting heals, or a squad leader getting heals, or whatever it may be, and just boom, 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 boom. They're ranking it up so fast. You know, it'll be interesting to see how this actually works. Same thing with reloading. So, you know, when a guy sets down an ammo pack, you know, does he constantly get points for every single time he gets a reload from a player? I mean, if I can just sit there and shoot a couple bullets, reload, shoot a couple bullets, reload, shoot a couple. You know, how much can that be manipulated? It's going to be curious to see. And is it even worth manipulating? That's the other thing too. Is that going to be enough of an effect? Can you get to something in an in-game progression that is really badass earlier on to give you that much more of an advantage? So we'll see. That's probably the really thing. That is the only noticeable thing for in-game progression. The next thing is going to be deserter penalties. Now, they did have a penalty system, I believe, in the last Incursions. They disabled it at some point. I think it was like in January when they disabled it. But basically, if you leave a match, then you are going to be penalized for it. I don't know if they're going to be able to discern whether you dropped or you left. It's just period. If you're gone, it happens. But the first time you leave a match, 5 minutes, you're not going to be able to jump into another game. Second time you leave a match, 1 hour, you're not going to be able to jump into a game, which I love, by the way. I love deserter penalties. And then you do have the third time, which is 24 hours of leaving. So to me, this is a much needed change that had to happen in incursions. We've had, well, just today, I was doing placement matches. I think I did 4 placement matches today. And I had leavers in 3 of the 4 matches. So I'm really, really hoping that those guys are kind of getting the message, hey, you either need to go to practice or you need to finish out the match. You know, hey, you know what? I lose games. It sucks. It really does. But, you know, it's not going to make it any easier or any better on other players. It's going to ruin their experiences when you don't even try after you start losing a little bit. I know it's frustrating, but still, hang in there, finish out the match, and then you know what? Hey, maybe after your placement matches, you'll never see those players again. So you only got 10 of them. Play them and be done with it. So those are deserter penalties. Next, we are going to go into some kits. Now, not a whole lot changed with the kits. There were some notable changes, I think, and I am going to talk about that right now. And I think this is going to not necessarily have a massive impact on the kit, but it's definitely going to change, I think, in the way the kit can be played. So the first one is going to be the raid leader. Now, the raid leader, I believe everything on the raid leader is still the same. The press on looks a little bit different. Getting the kill or the assist will put suppression immunity. I may be wrong on that one, but that one I just like, I don't recognize that one. But really the thing that you can't see that's on here is the fact that the kit itself has had a change. So instead of the med bags, which it did have, unlimited med bags, they got med boxes. Now, I don't know if they're unlimited. To be honest with you, when I was playing the raid leader earlier today, I did not test that out. So if I could just throw them down continuously. But changing it from med bags to med boxes forces the squad leader to be a lot less aggressive. Less of a lone wolf and more of a team player. Yes, he can still do those heals, which is going to be critical, especially if you don't have a medic. You got to have somebody in there to do some kind of healing. He can do that. He can do those heals, but he's not going to be able to run around the map like a madman just racking up all these kills, which did happen in the previous setting. Also, another change that happened was that they've taken the Madison off of the class and they've put the Ribby rolls. I can't say how that is pronounced, but I call it the Ribby rolls, and it's a good switch up. I like it. I feel like it fits the class very, very well. It's not too crazy as like an Automatico or a Hellriegel, but at the same time, it does have the the limitation of it being a submachine gun. So with that LMG, you still have the suppression effect that comes in with the LMGs. I hit hard with the LMGs. So it's really good balance, I think, to have with that raid leader. He is meant to be up in that mid-range to close range setting, but he doesn't have to, he's not just completely off the hook to where he can go anywhere and everywhere he wants to if he wants to be a medic. So he has to kind of stay back a little bit from there. So I think it's a really good change with the gun and the med kit in order to keep him in check, so that he can do that aggressiveness, but he's not completely aggressive. So the next one after that is going to be the demo driver. This is probably in the competitive scene, I guess you could say, like the guys that are playing in the matches and stuff. No Frommer Stomp auto on the demo driver. It's gone. This was something that was highly contested. Players were very pissed off that this was even in the game, that it hasn't been changed in the game. Like, they've been asking for it for months and months and months and months. Well, it's gone. There is no Frommer Stomp. It has been replaced by, I think, like the C9. I don't know. It's the it's one of the pistol hybrids. It's an okay gun. The one thing that worries me about the direction that they're going with the tankers, and this is both of them, not just the demo driver, but also the battle mechanic, is the fact that they're not giving them the tools to be that effective when they're on the ground. So when their tank is dead, I'm not saying that they need to be as equal to another player, but they need to be able to push up with their team. And I'm not saying this for the person himself or the player themselves. I mean this for the team. Right now, they're setting it up to where whoever kills the other's tank first is going to have a huge advantage. He does need to have an advantage. I mean, that is something that you need to be able to take advantage of. But it doesn't need to be so bad right now to where you can just walk over the other team. And at the higher levels, it may not be that bad. And there is some stuff to maybe keep that in check. And we'll go over that in some of the kits here in a little bit. But at the moment, it just feels really bad when you are a tank kit and when your team has a tank kit and he does not have anything really to fight infantry with. It is very, very, very annoying. So my suggestion would be like put the Hewitt on one of them. You know, it's an LMG, yes, but it's got like 25 bullets in it. Doesn't shoot all that fast, and it would give him a gun that he can be effective with as an infantryman. You know, there needs to be something on him to make him worthwhile as an infantry player. So I'd like to see that change coming in. So far, he just had the auto replaced with the C96 pistol hybrid gun. Carbine is what they call it. Yeah, it's right there. Ha! I believe also the Tough Parks has been switched to the first one. So at rank 1, which you have rank 1 unlocked, by the way, at the start, you immediately have it. So you're not going to basically be disabled at any of the health values on the tracks. All right, so next one is going to be the medic. So the medic has had his medic crate switched over to the squad or the raid leader, and he now has the medic bags. I like this change. I think this change again is something that had to happen. It allows the medic to be aggressive. It allows the medic to throw heals very, very fast across the map to other players. Obviously not completely across the map, but at a distance to other players, and it allows him to be mobile. It allows him to be that medic who can be on the go, because quite frankly, the medic is going to be in the biggest fights that they're going to be. I mean, he's going to be right up in the thick of it. He's trying to keep his guys alive. He needs to be able to move. He needs to be able to heal. He needs to be able to revive fast. And this allows him to do it. I really like this change. I think the one biggest thing that I would change is all of the med bags and the ammo pouches. So ammo pouches, med pouches, is make them a consumable. Make it so that they're not completely like just infinite. Give them 6 to 9 of them or something like that, to where they do have to kind of think about using them, but it does allow them to be very, very mobile. So really like that change on the medic. Looking forward to how this is going to affect the competitive matches that are going to be happening in the leagues coming up. Next is going to be the mortar support. Now I believe that his crate has just been changed. Or what? Anything happen actually for the mortar support? Or am I just crazy? No, I think he pretty much is the same. I don't think he had crates. I think he had just the crate on the mortar itself, and then he had the ammo bag as well. So he's still pretty much the same. Proximity recon. So this is where we were talking about before. Now there may be some checks and balances without having to give any kind of good guns to the tankers. So the tripwires are completely gone from the game. Used to proximity recon, shock assault, both of these guys, and we'll talk about both of these kits as well in the same thing, because both happen. Same thing happened to both of them. Their tripwires have been taken away completely, and they've been replaced with mines. Now, I believe you have multiple mines. I think you have up to 2 or 3, something like that. I haven't really had an opportunity to play with the kits all that much. Like I said, I've only had 4 placement matches since the patch has gone live. But I don't know. I don't like the change on the proximity recon. I do like it for the shock assault. So one of the things that I have stated before was that there needs to be kind of 2 types of anti-tank. There needs to be one that is your main anti-tanker. Like he is the guy that is going to have the best tools to kill tanks with. And you need to have one that, you don't have to pick that best guy that can kill tanks, but one that can still, you can have another pick that is still pretty good. He can still kind of hold his own, but it's going to be a little bit tougher. And combined, you can use those kits as like one is there to kind of slow and harass the tank, and the other one is there to kill the tank. And I believe the shock assault is the harasser. I think that he is the one that not necessarily can kill a tank outright, at the very least not as easy as the AT assault, but he can disrupt, he can delay, he can harass the opponent's tanker. And with having an 18 mine, that's going to allow him to do that a hell of a lot easier, obviously, than what a trip mine could. Now, the one thing with mines that I have found, because I did play a tanker for one of my matches, is that when you are getting overwhelmed with players, it is very easy for them to throw a mine down, shoot the mine, and have you go boom, or at the very least have you disabled, and there's really nothing you can do. So tankers are going to have to change the way they play, definitely change the way they play right now in terms of getting very aggressive. And on squad breakthrough, that is going to be very, very apparent as you are on Amines. So a lot of choke points, a lot of areas that you can get kind of stuck in. So I'm really curious to see how it's going to be playing out. But proximity recon is where I have the problem. So prox recon, to me, he was an infantry. He was a counter to infantry, okay? He wasn't meant to be a counter to tanks. He was never meant to be a counter to tanks. What he was there to do was to spot players, spot movement, and to be a direct counter to infantry. He had the MP18, which is, in my opinion, one of the best guns in the game. I mean, in the base game as well. It's just so damn good. He had the spawn beacons, or no, sorry, the spawn beacons, but the tugs. Basically, it's a decoy head that lays down, and it acts the same as a tugs. It has an area of effect where anybody running in that area can be seen. So you were allowed to basically give heads up to your team. Hey, we got movement over here on the right side of the map. It almost acted as another spotter for your team. You could throw him over there, and you could go on the other side, pay attention to your mini map, and then you could know when you were getting pushed from either side. Now, with the change with the tripwire to the mine, I feel like you have kind of taken away what he was meant to do. So he was meant to slow down and kill infantry players. With the tripwire gone, he's not able to not necessarily outright kill a player, but he's not able to slow him down. Tripwire slowed players down. It made them look behind corners, look around corners. It was a deterrent to take certain paths. So I think that's something that's really going to be missed. But giving the mine to the proximity recon, there's just too much AT out on the map. Like I said, I believe you can get 2 to 3 mines per kit, so you can have up to potentially 4 to 6 mines out at one time. Plus, you have the AT assault, which is going to have AT grenades, and he's going to have the limpet charge, as well as the shock assault having the crossbow grenade launcher. And you have potentially the mortar support with his mortars. That's 4 AT classes right there that you can have down. It's a little bit much, you know, that I don't see what it's turning into is the game is building around countering the tank. The tank needs to be powerful, but it doesn't need to be so powerful that you have to have 4 kits, or you can have 4 kits in order to counter it. So I would really like to see them bring the the tripwire back for the proximity recon with some changes. One, you only get 1 tripwire. That's it, 1 tripwire. You don't get 2 in your inventory. You don't get 3. You get 1 tripwire, and it cannot be reloaded. You cannot rearm off of an ammo box. It's a gadget that once you place it down, it's done. The other thing is that you can only have 1 tripwire out on the field at one time. So when you go to set down another tripwire, the other one disappears. So you will not be able to just plant 2 or 3 of them around the map at any given time, or basically have, like I said, if you had a bunch in your inventory, because what was happening before was you would have 2 tripwires, and then you would have 2 more in your inventory with a potential for 4 tripwires in 1 life. That's a bit too much. So I would like to see 1 tripwire, make it so that it is the HE, not the incendiary, because the incendiary was just really, really BS. And basically allow it to where you can only have 1 on the map. That would fulfill his role as an anti-infantry player, somebody who is there to recon, to get reconnaissance by spotting out those players. And the tripwires can also be used as recon as well. When players run over that, it makes an audible sound. When players shoot those, it makes an audible sound. It allows you to hear where those players are going to be coming in from. which again, that is all information that the recon should be able to provide. So I really feel like that is a change that did not need to happen for the proximity recon. I do love it for the shock assault. So we'll see how those two play out. So pretty much, I believe the rest of that is, or the rest of this is done. I don't think that there's anything else that has really been changed. Unfortunately, there are some passive spotting still in the game. You do have a couple of them, like on the combat sniper, where it will highlight the other player. I believe that. Real quick. So the proximity recon, the AOE for the decoys, for the tugs, has been shrunk, and I believe that there is a proxy capture. I don't know if that was on the other one before, but it also assists your allies in capturing an objective, which is kind of cool. I don't know how well that's going to be working, but I think that that is going to be your allies only. I don't think you can like set one on a capture point and it captures by itself. I think that you have to have your teammates on the point in order for it to do what it needs to do. And then the other thing on there is the ammo patches falling once you get a kill. So the proximity recon has had a lot of changes on there, a lot of changes. But yeah, so that is about it. That's kind of my take on it so far. The rest of this you guys can read. You know, I really don't think it's all that important. You do have some changes to some kit weapons. Some maps and modes have had some changes. Most of those are bugs fixes through a lot of it. So if you guys want to read that, you can head on over to the Incursions Reddit page and go check that out. But anyways, guys, that's kind of my take on the update that's coming in. Let me know down in the comments if you guys would like to have like a little bit of a podcast. I'm going to try and get maybe some of the competitive players like Safe, Deuce, maybe some of the other guys together and just talk about the patch, talk about what we think the changes, if they're good, bad, you know, what we think the future of for Incursions. Yeah, and yeah, that's about it, guys. So one take, awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a long one, I do realize, but a lot of information there to unpack, and hopefully we'll see you in Incursions. Take it easy, guys.